immigration system is for New Zealand to attract, welcome and successfully settle the people our country needs, and importantly, we believe, to treat people with dignity, respect and fairness. Mr Speaker, this is a wide-ranging bill that makes a variety of changes to our immigration system. Labor supports some of the changes made by this bill, such as those recommended by Victoria KC and Michael Heron KC. We have questions about other aspects of the bill, and we look forward to exploring those at Select Committee, such as the increased levy powers and the changing of the definition of a mass arrival. There are important principles that underpin the discussion here, Mr Speaker. The first, I think, is that people have a right under international law to seek asylum enshrined in international law and commitments that we have signed up to. Secondly, that the integrity of the system must be protected to keep the public's faith in asylum being just for those fleeing war and persecution. And thirdly, that the primary risk we must always remember when people flee their countries is to the lives of those asylum seekers, not from asylum seekers. So let's walk through some of the key provisions of the bill. I want to start with the provisions that have arisen out of Michael Heron's 2023 review of out-of-hours immigration compliance activities. And it was a concern to a lot of people, including us when we were in government, that immigration officers were turning up unannounced at homes and in the middle of the night or in the very early hours of the morning. And given the scars that the Dawn raids left on this country from the 1970s, that clearly, that compliance activity needed guardrails put around it. And I'm glad to see the provisions in the bill do that. Secondly, in relation to the conditions around warrants of commitment, and the provisions around the detention of asylum seekers. Background on that is that about 3 years ago, Amnesty International published an investigation into the jailing of asylum seekers in New Zealand and alleged that this was going on. They provided some very harrowing examples and they said it was happening in contravention of New Zealand's international obligations. And as Associate Minister, with the support of my senior colleague, I arranged for Victoria Casey, then QC, to do the investigation, and she did an excellent job. She entirely vindicated Amnesty International's report. Asylum seekers were being jailed in New Zealand, not in large numbers, but decisions were being made by junior officials in Immigration New Zealand in the absence of any proper process to jail asylum seekers, indeed in contravention of New Zealand's international human rights obligations. And Immigration New Zealand has since then implemented a raft of policy and operational changes. These legislative changes are the final piece of the puzzle, I think, and Labor is very glad to see them before the House tonight. Third, creating an offence for people who seek a monetary premium for an offer of employment. This is something that we're very happy to support in the House. No one likes to see the kinds of migrant worker exploitation cases that pop up in the media with alarming frequency. Corrupt overseas agents effectively selling visas, seeking premiums for offers of employment, working in cahoots with dodgy employers in New Zealand. It has to stop, and we strongly support this particular initiative to do that. On the fiscal sustainability provisions, we'll be interested to see who exactly the Minister wants to target in relation to that. On the mass arrivals, I've run out of time to talk in depth about that, but we will be exploring that in detail at Select Committee, as with the special powers that are being granted in relation to how you deal with someone who's a protected person, but is deemed to be a risk to public safety. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, just before we sit down there and get into conversation, I think I'm going to show you a map of today's. Now, this is just one paper run, but look at how many of those numbers there are across the screen. So that is just the Miramar Peninsula. So that is one paper run that I did this morning. If you see, I finished it at 2:13 a.m. Now we'll see if this one brings up, and this is the Newtown Brooklyn one. Just like to point out, over here, there's the hospital. Over there's Government House. Just to let you know, Patsy's not getting her paper at the moment. They used to be on there, but you can sit there and get all the way up to Victoria University over here, right up to the windmill, and right along back into the heart of like Brooklyn and right out through now this area here used to be Athletic Park. Now it's a retirement village, but it's the one where where the Springbok tour stuff happened in there, and there's also Wakefield Hospital in there. But just to put some context of the sort of like the scale of the paper run, and both paper runs are about 50 kilometres each.
That is a mammoth task. Did you deliver any to Parliament?
No. Parliament is all the way up here under the Newtown Thorndon run. Not the Newtown, the Thorndon paper run. So not my paper run.
I just want people to know that how serious the paper run is, because I wasn't aware of this whole situation. And I personally think that people on paper runs shouldn't be able to be deported either. After that,
100% agree.
I personally, after seeing that, you get all the rights.
Yep.
I don't even know if we have anyone on work visas working on the paper. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's a citizen or resident.
And from what I've heard, because here in Devonport, it's the same people who've been doing that for a long time. Or
many of those recently got made redundant. But you had people like, there was one person who in Wellington, 46 years.
No way.
Like doing the same paper. Like she was in her mid-80s.
Damn.
Like mid-80s, still doing the paper run.
What a
she,
bitch,
like
grandma.
so 40. So how old did she start? When the legal age would have been what? Back then, 13.
What paper runs?
Yeah.
Probably for the paid ones, the times of the day, yes, you probably would have had to have been 16 or 18. Because I know someone who used to deliver the Dominion. This is a day in Wellington when it had the Dominion and the Evening Post. And because she was under a certain age, she wasn't allowed to start before 6 a.m., but she had to deliver them by 7 a.m.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
In conclusion, sorry, I didn't mean to trigger your dog. In conclusion, I agree with Phil Twyford, and good job, Sam. Did a good job on the paper run.
Yeah, and for Jeff, yes, that is the hilly parts of Strathmore. I do go up. And also along Seatoon Heights Road, Neve Road, Tocha Road, and yes, the hills can be quite steep, but I can tell you right now, the Strathmore, the Miramar Peninsula doesn't have the steep roads. It's the Brooklyn part that has steep roads, including one morning on Mortimer Terrace, I wheel spinned when I went around a corner being a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So I now won't drive that section of Mortimer Terrace now because I just can't afford to get stuck.
Fast and Furious, Wellington Drift.
But do you just throw them? Like, are you driving and throwing them at the same time?
Yes. Throw them out both windows. Both windows, and you try to get them to the house. Some of them you have to do letterbox deliveries. But yeah, you pretty much, I mean, I delivered to 2 libraries this morning, so Miramar Library and Newtown Library, because they were on my paper runs. I mean, when I used to have the Island Bay paper run, I used to have Island Bay Library on it.
Holy moly, so you're actually driving and doing it on your own, Sam? Like, no one comes to help you? You haven't got, like, a partner or...
No.
Some child that needs some pocket money, I don't know, somebody to help.
God, at that hour of the day? Trust me, it's damn hard to find a person to fill in for me when I need someone to fill in.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've got someone who actually does fill in, Don, who's a professional stop-go sign operator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he did it once for me. He absolutely loved doing it. But he's used to being up at those hours, but most people freak out at that.
I agree with Jeff.
I think under the new contracts, I agree with you, Jeff. We do need that. And anyone who may have noticed, if I've mentioned the name Mons, she is a paper contractor, and when the new runs kicked in, she ended up with a nice 300 paper weekday paper run now. So she doesn't do Sundays anymore, but she does Monday and Saturday.
What do you think of Phil Twyford's speech?
Yes, let's get to Phil Twyford. Yes. It felt a bit like, what do you call it? It mentioned his part about when he was Associate Minister of Immigration.
Yes. Frankie, what do you think?
I think that I like how he was respectful of the time, but Yeah, he didn't really go into too much. I don't know what I really don't know what to say about his speech, to be honest.
Thinking too much about newspapers.
Well, not just that. Like, I was still thinking about the speech before because I'm trying to work out what their angle is. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like it's one of those squares that don't fit into a circle. You know,
Yeah.
like, there's something that's not right.
I can tell you, the angle is save as much money as possible while not violating as many human rights as possible.
But also,
that's a good summary.
Or be able to determine who you deport and who you don't. Do you know
Pretty
what I
much.
mean?
Don't deport the rich people.
No, because there's a lot of corruption that trickles down into all sorts of lines of work and things like that too. So, yeah.
Peter Thiel in his 6 days before he got New Zealand citizenship.
Oh, that's that other version of Elon Musk. What's his name again?
Peter Thiel. Yeah, and I don't think many people actually know it there because there's all sorts of big things happening in the United States about him at the moment.
Guy. Yeah.
And it's like the fact is like he got granted New Zealand citizenship after being here for only 6 days. Most people have to spend 3.5 out of 5 years in a collective space to get citizenship.
So why was he given 6 days?
Because he's got money. It was under John Key's government. So it was before Trump got elected first time round.
Yep.
So
billions of dollars.
So they couldn't be undone by a new government?
No. Citizenship is not easy to undo. Plus, the other thing is, he hasn't broken any New Zealand laws to justify undoing it.
That we know.
He made me cringe.
That we found.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't agree with the way he's attained it, but he hasn't broken any laws to justify stripping away because of the way he attained it.
He made me cringe, and he bought a bunker. I deported outside the.
Yeah, it's Kiwi-Birb probably brought his way in.
But if we get the integrity meter out, it's going to point directly away from him.
If it was integrity with magnetic north, it'll be pointing probably at the South Pole. Okay,